Okay, so we're going to save lives. So now we have the adult mindset. Number 2, gave you number 1. What you think of number 1? What was number 1? Let me check for understanding. Isn't that what we ask our teachers to do? Let's check for understanding. CFU. What's number 1? We developed a mission statement. Did we only put together nice words? What did we do? Okay, we all got together. We came up with a sentence that we could remember, but now we live it, right? We don't just talk it. And every meeting on campus begins with that mission statement. Okay, it's at the sign-in sheet. People are sick of the mission statement. I brought it up at a retirement. People were retiring, they're like, oh, we need this. We do. This is our mission. This is what we're about. This is what you're retiring from. Okay, next. We developed school-wide SMART goals and held ourselves accountable to them. You've heard of goals, yes? Here's the crazy thing. Get this. I started reading business books. If you have not read a book called The 5 Temptations of a CEO by a brother named Peter Lencioni, that dude is bad. He is good. And then he writes another book called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Very good book. And what I love about this guy is that he turned it into a novel. It's like a story, and then in the end he breaks it down. Excellent book. But in these business books, they all talk about the importance of having goals. Multi-billion, million-dollar corporations, they all have goals. Well, with all due respect to industries that are $1 billion, our jobs are much more precious. Our organizations are dealing with lives, which has no price tag on it. It's in the trillions, what we do with our kids. Are you with me here? But when you ask people from an organization, what are your goals this year? We can rarely, it's all over the place. I'll go to a group of 7th grade teachers. What is our goal at Holland Middle School? To make sure kids learn literacy, numeracy. It's not specific, right? So we study these SMART goals. You've heard of these before in Atlanta, yes? What does the S stand for, folks? Specific. They got to be specific. What does the M stand for? Measurable. What does the A stand for? Attainable. What does the R stand for? Results oriented. And what does the T stand for? Timely. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been promising my wife abs, a 6-pack for like the last 11 years that we've been married. I know she still loves me because I don't have the abs. But you know what? The reason I don't have the abs is because I don't set SMART goals. I just set goals. So I start off really good on June 1st, first day of summer. Oh yeah, I'm going to work out today. And I end up working like 3 times through the morning run, afternoon jog. In the evening I go swimming, right? And then I have a salad for dinner, right? And then day 2 rolls around. What happens day 2? We break that down from a 3 times a day to maybe 2 times a day. And dang, those nuggets look good from McDonald's. I did good yesterday, so I'm gonna have to focus on salad today. I'm just gonna have 4-piece nuggets. See, you're right there with me, right? And then the next day you say, let's just cut the workout altogether. And let's just have, what's a Big Mac gonna hurt? And next thing you know, it's Friday and the goals are gone, right? You know why I didn't reach my goal of giving my wife that 6-pack? Because it wasn't a SMART goal. It was just a goal that I ended up not meeting. Now I'm working on a SMART goal because I just turned 40 a couple of weeks ago, and doctor said, you need to work on something called cholesterol. It scared me because I got daughters. It's not just about me now. It's about my girls. I want to make sure they have a father. So you better believe I'm going to implement them SMART goals. You know it's bad when you go to the optometrist, he's looking in your eye and he says, I see a lot of cholesterol. I'm all, dang, they got cholesterol in my eye? This is not good. I got to do something. So no one, watch me at lunch. I'm going to be eating healthy. Okay, watch me at lunch. Now watch, here we go. Here are our SMART goals. At Baldwin Park High School, 80% or more of all 9th grade students will end the year credit current. Why was this an important SMART goal for us? Because we read the research on dropouts, and you know what they say? That if 9th graders don't finish their 9th grade year with all their credits, the likelihood of them dropping out is huge. Like significantly huge. So it only made sense that we go from where we were, 65, to 80. Right? We looked at that data. That was data we had never looked for. This is not something that high-stakes testing is asking for. We looked at it because we needed to look at it. Forget whether or not it's going to be measured by the federal government or the state government. Bottom line, we're in the business of what? Saving student lives. And we needed to look at this data. Now, in the state of California, we also have something called a CASE exam, the California High School Exit Exam. In order for kids to graduate, they need to pass a test now. And in order for them to pass this test, they need to be proficient. Now, get this. They can pass the test with a 350. But we wanted them to score a 380 because 380 means that they're proficient, and this is where our AYP comes from, right? So we really wanted to focus on that. And then the last thing we needed is 40% or more of all 11th and 12th grade students will graduate with their A through G requirements. In the state of California, the A through G requirements are those classes that will make them eligible to attend a UC, University of California, a university, or a Cal State. So if they graduate with their A through G, they're eligible to be able to apply to those colleges, right? These became our SMART goals. 3. It wasn't 19. We could have gone, we could have had 40 SMART goals, but what good is that? Because then all of a sudden we lose focus on what we're here for. Are you with me here? So these became our SMART goals, ladies and gentlemen. And they're posted all over the front office when people sign in, and they're reminded every day. Now get this, now each department, we've evolved since those first early days. Now each department, the math department, the science department, the social science department, the biology department, they have their own SMART goal. Usually it's either 1 or 2, it's not 50, right? And individual teachers now have their own SMART goal. And do you know how often we bring these up? Often. Because here's what I've learned about SMART goals. I've learned it early on. If you don't bring them up, so at the end of 6 weeks, the kids get their grades. Are you with me here? It's the end of the grading period. Kids get their report cards, right? We're asking them to look at the red, white, or yellow. I'll get into that in a minute. But then we ask our teachers, how's your SMART goal going? Hey, math department, you said you were going to be 17% more proficient than last year. How are you doing with that? We have to constantly bring them up, because if we don't bring it up, what happens? We forget about it. It doesn't become important. You bring up what's important. You remind people about what's important. And if it's not brought up, and it's not something that we're reminding people of, then it must not be important. Are you with me here? So we started reminding people, and we moved forward. Now, number 3. No, I didn't check for understanding. What was number 1?
Mission statement.
What was number 2? SMART goal, right? Now, mind you, usually I have a lot more time to go deep into this. And I share the mistakes, the trials and tribulations of implementing a mission statement SMART goal. But for the sake of time, we're moving forward. Number 3 says what? What does number 3 say, folks? We learned and practiced the difference between what?
Collaboration.
And collaboration. Okay? And I'd love to say that was my statement, but Dr. DeFore said that at his conference one day. He said, look, there's a difference between collaboration and collaboration. And here's the difference. When we talk about collaboration, what are we talking about? A process by which members of a team work interdependently to achieve a what? A common goal. So that means that we're going to sit down at this table, right? And that there's a goal that we need to get to, okay? Hey guys, so our SMART goal as a math department continues to be that we, by the end of the year, are going to make sure that we've increased our proficiency in Algebra 1 by 8%. We confronted the brutal facts and we're moving forward. Are you with me here? Okay, so we all created those common assessments early in the year. We have our results back. Let's look at them and let's talk. And he speaks, and she speaks, and then you share. And it turns out that you had 98% proficiency. Give it up for my friend Rita right here. 98% proficiency. Way to go. My man here had 85, we had 90, and we had 78, right? So is this our time to make fun of him? No, that's not what professionals do, right? What you need to do is you need to ask Rita, what did you do? Turns out that Rita is a master at manipulatives. She uses manipulatives all the time in her classroom.